Good morning, everybody. Today I want to read you one of my very favorite stories by Patricia Polacco. It's called Something About Hensleys. And this story is so nice because it's about a people of a town and they all come together to help each other. So I really like that about this book. So let's see what happens. There's just something about Hensleys. You see, no matter what a body may need, you're sure to find it there. Why, you have everything from clothespins to model airplanes, antiques to fiddle strings, makeup to hornet spray to scrumptious candy counters filled with goodies. On any given day, townsfolk gather there. They just find themselves leaning back and talking to old John Sonkrent himself. He owns Hensley's now. Sometimes patrons linger there, not even knowing why. All sorts of unique items. One thing is old John is downright magical, or so folks think around here. He's the heart of that store. He has warm eyes that crinkle and dance, a sweet smile, and a comforting hug for whoever may need one. And it doesn't matter what anyone comes in to buy, old John always has it. All those candy jars. Why, there was the time Therma Mosswood came in, all in a dither. "I have a catastrophe, Mr. Sonkrent," she said. "My bridge club is coming today, and I need one more place setting of garden rose dishware by noon. It's a discontinued pattern, and no one has it. I've been everywhere." No sooner had her words hit the air than old John was holding up 2 boxes of garden rose dishware. "Why, that's the very thing," Miss Mosswood said breathlessly. He had it. And then there was the time that Tommy Ivo dashed into the store, all out of breath and vexed with botheration. "Mr. Sonkrent, I have a track meet in 15 minutes, and the cleats just broke off one of my track shoes." No sooner had Tommy said it than old John was holding a shoebox. "But what a shame, Tommy," he said. "There's only one track shoe in here. I don't rightly know what could have happened to the other one." Tommy took the box. "It's the left shoe, Mr. Sonkrent. Exactly the one I need, and it's my size. Why, it's the very thing." Tommy Ivo won his race that day. Mr. Sonkrent, and bye. And who doesn't know about the day little Sally Turnbow came into the store so worried that it took her 4 handfuls of gumdrops to calm her down. She had broken her mother's favorite lamp and didn't know what to do. "Mama said that lamp was the only one like it in the whole world," she cried. Old John went into his back room, and out he came, holding a very unusual lamp. "Was it something like this?" he asked. "Why, that's it," Sally exclaimed. "It's the very thing." That funny lamp. One day, 2 little girls came timidly into the store. They pressed their faces up against the candy case. "Can I help you with something?" old John asked them. "We're just looking," the older girl said nervously. "We don't have any money," the younger one blurted out. Old John smiled. He heard a mother had moved into town with 2 girls alone. "I'm Molly," said the older one, "and this is my little sister Kate. How about I give you both a bag of candy to welcome you to Union City?" old John said as he stepped behind the candy counter and shoveled delicious morsels from the bins with a metal scoop. "That's very kind." "I have the very thing for you. A bag of licorice for you, Molly, and a bag of caramels for you, Kate, and a bag of chocolate-covered cherries for your mom." Old John smiled. "Don't be strangers now. You 2 and your mom come see me any time. You can find anything here at Hensley's, don't you know?" Little bird is chewing on some candy. From that time on, Kate and Molly made Hensley's a regular stop on their way home from school. Molly perused the books for sale at the back of the store. Kate dreamed over stuffed gingham kittens. "I'll bet you'd like a real little kitten, wouldn't you, Kate?" old John asked one day. "Always," Kate said wistfully, "but Molly's allergic to them." "Does your mother know there are shots that Molly could take so that you could have a kitty and it wouldn't bother her?" old John asked. Well, we're renting," said Kate. "We can't have any pets." Mr. Sunkern thought there was more to her story. One day, a sweet, exuberant woman came bounding into Hensley's. Mr. Sunkern, I'm Mary McCafferty. Kate and Molly are my girls. She thrust her hand toward old John. They sure love coming to the store. Mrs. McCafferty shook old John's hand vigorously. Then she looked at her watch. I wonder where they are now. I was supposed to meet them here, and we were going to have an early dinner at the diner. She rechecked her watch. Just then the front door of the store crashed open, and Kate came bursting in. Mama! Molly can't breathe, Kate cried. Mary rushed over to the door and found Molly wheezing and gasping for air. Oh, no. Now wait, Mr. Sunkern said as he helped Molly and her mother to the back of the store. I have a steamer. I'll set it up right away. Mr. Miller, the village pharmacist, was in the next aisle and looked around the corner. Does she have a rescue inhaler? Molly's mom shook her head. No, I can run and get one right now, but I need a prescription. Look, all the people are ready to help. About then, a round, jolly-looking man peered from out of the fishing rods. I'm a doctor. Perhaps I could be of assistance, he said as he took a stethoscope from his bag. I'll need that inhaler, a nebulizer, and a chest pack pronto. He drew a syringe, filled it from a small vial, and gave her a shot. She should breathe much easier now. In no time, Molly could breathe. Molly's mother looked at the doctor. I can't pay you, doctor, Mrs. McCafferty said as her eyes filled with tears. Old John took the doctor aside. They're all rushing to help her out. This little family seems to be having such a hard time, Doctor, Mr. Sunkern began, but I can plainly see that you are a champion fisherman. I saw you admiring the antique rod and reel in the front window. The doctor nodded yes. Well, sir, I have this here old tackle box stuffed clean full of the finest fly lures there ever were. The doctor's eyes widened. They are all hand-tied, don't you know, each one of them one of a kind. Are you offering those lures to me? The doctor asked as he tried not to show how much he wanted them. Old John nodded. The doctor pondered for a moment. Tell you what, you throw in that antique rod and reel, and going forward, I'll treat that child free of any charge, the doctor said. Done deal, doctor, old John beamed. Aw. So Mr. Sunkern gave him some fishing things, and he said he will help take care of Molly anytime. They went over to Mary and the girls. I'm Dr. Case, Mrs. McCafferty. You bring your girl over to my office in Coldwater tomorrow. We'll do everything we can to get Molly's asthma under control. Mary cried and hugged Dr. Case, then she hugged old John, and finally her girls. I told you, Mama, Kate said. Hensley's has everything, even a doctor to help Molly. After that, Mary was a believer in Hensley's. She, too, became a regular. One night she stayed there late just to talk to old John. She told him the whole story, that the girl's father had left, that she was a single mother and a college student, and that her landlord had raised her rent for the second time in a year. I just don't know what I'm going to do, old John said. Things will change for you, Mary. I can feel it. It's nice. Sometimes you just need someone to listen. One day when she stopped in, Mary noticed old John clearing off a whole section of shelves. Always wanted to sell genuine hand-painted pottery. Don't you reckon the store needs something like that? Old John asked Mary with a twinkle in his eye. Here's a plan. Mary looked surprised. But, John, did you know I used to be a potter? I threw my own pieces, designed and painted them, too. Psh, you don't say. You, a potter? Mary smiled and nodded. Well, Mary, you're exactly what I'm looking for. You don't suppose you could make some for me? Maybe I could sell some of your pottery right here at Hensley's. Oh, John, it's been years. My pottery wheel is in storage. Besides, I'd need a kiln to fire the pieces, and I don't even have one anymore. Can you make a prediction about where a kiln might come from? Old John's eyes twinkled as he led Mary downstairs, through the antique store and through the back room door. In the corner of the furnace room, he pulled the tarp, and there it was, a kiln. I traded old Lon Fury for it 2 years back. He even threw in all of these glazes. John pointed to rows and rows of colors. Do I dare dream, Mary whispered. It would be a dandy way to earn extra money you need, wouldn't it? Old John sang out. Mary thought for a time. Mr. Songbird, Mary said dreamily, I think we are in business. Well, sir, Mary set up a studio right there in Hensley's basement. Pretty soon, people were coming from far and wide to buy her one-of-a-kind dishes, platters, teapots, and mugs. Before long, she had a thriving business. She called it All Fired Up. She stayed in school all right, got her teaching credentials, and got a job teaching. With that and the sale of her pottery, she and the girls were able to buy a sweet little house with a big front porch and a hanging swing. Hensley's, of course, had the perfect paint colors, the exact wallpaper, and just the right curtains for the windows. Always the very thing that was needed to make a house a home. Molly, Kate, and their mom had everything they wanted, almost. It's exciting news. A new house. One day, Molly and Kate marched into Henley's on their way home from school. Kate had something on her mind. Everybody in my family got just what they needed at Hensley's. Mr. Songbird, what do I need? Kate asked. Here, Kate, you need this basket, and Molly, you need this step stool. Old John said. The girls looked puzzled. And when you leave the store, take High Street home. But High Street is 2 blocks out of our way, Molly grumbled. Take it anyway, girls, he said, as he whisked them both to the front door and popped chocolate raisins into each of their mouths. Why is he giving them a basket and a ladder? I don't know. This basket is heavy, Kate whined as she dragged it along. This step stool isn't exactly light, Kate, Molly snapped. About then, the tiniest sound seemed to be coming from directly above them. They looked up. At first they didn't see anything, but then they heard it again, a faint little cry. The leaves rustled and moved. That's when they saw, barely clinging to a branch, a tiny, fluffy, sweet little kitten, not 2 blocks from Henley's. Do you suppose this is the very thing? Kate sang out. She always wanted a kitten. Molly quickly set up the step stool, climbed up, and rescued the little kitten. Kate held the basket as Molly gently dropped the kitten in. Then it purred and nestled into Kate's arms as if it was meant to be there. Oh, Molly, Mr. Songbird, why, it is the very thing, Kate whispered as she stroked this wee little head. Kate, Molly whispered, if we hadn't had this basket and the ladder, and if we hadn't come this way, we wouldn't have found this kitten. They looked at each other. Hensley's, they whispered in awe. Well, Kate and Molly named the little cat Hensley, and do you know, they loved that little kitty so much that from that time on, whenever they thought about their dad being gone, they were full of so much love they didn't feel sad anymore. They found out what everyone in Union City knows. There's something about Hensley's, and Old John too. They also know there isn't anything that you can't find at Hensley's, and whatever that may be, it will always be the very thing. The end. There goes Mr. Hensley, or Mr. Songbird with his bird. So I like this story because it's about how one little town is always ready to help each other out. Just like in our classroom, we're always ready to help each other out. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful day today.